Joining us on stage, ladies and gentlemen, आप सभी की जोरदार तालियों के बीच में पहले तो पैनलिस्ट को इनवाइट करना चाहेंगे CEO Educate Online, जोरदार तालियों से प्लीज वेलकम मिस्टर अमित सनेजा. Up next, welcoming the principal of CD Group of Schools, जोरदार तालियों से प्लीज वेलकम मिस निशु यादव. My goodness, you're the principal. क्या बात है, मैं तो आपको मिस हरियाणा का अवार्ड देने वाली थी. Fantastic, welcome, welcome. And completing the panel, Director Kia Montessori Preschool and Daycare, please welcome Miss Deepika Yadav. And now, without any further ado, time to call out the moderators. Zordar taliyon se please welcome Miss Simi Harding, CEO Global Education Board.
My name is Simi Harding. I represent Global Education Board. Global Education Board एक US based organization है and our मैं क्यों लेती हूँ, Mr. बोधराज ने जो कहा था, आपसे थोड़ा मुखातिब हो रही हूँ, हिंदी बोलने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ बहुत अच्छे से, so keep helping me in that. आपने कहा digital universities are very important and what we do with our company's initiative is bringing university partnerships to India. So we bring some of the most diverse, some of the best universities from US, UK, Australia, other parts of the world. So happy to discuss with you on that. But taking a cue from that and Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, which is Haryana's campaign for last so many years. And as I was reading last night, कि Haryana जो है, Chandigarh is number 3 now in the statistical rating in education system, which is very good. So applaud yourselves, एक तालियां हो जाएं हरियाणा के लिए. Literacy rate भी 35% plus बढ़ गया है. We have 75% literacy rate in Haryana now. So that's another, kind of monumental thing for us. So over to my panelists. We are going to speak to these guys and understand, especially the new education policy, which is again an initiative of our Prime Minister Modi ji. So we will talk to some of them to see what their thoughts are and how it is going to change the landscape of education today. So I'll pass on the mic to you, introduce yourself a little bit and shed a light.
First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Raj Verma for this opportunity that we are here. I'm not alone here today. My students are here with me as well. So I'm currently heading CD Group of Schools as a principal. So we have 4 branches. The aim and the motto that we follow is learn, achieve and contribute. So it's completely aligned with the new education policy. We should not call it new education policy. The correct name is National Education Policy, but it's new. It's been recently launched, so that's why we call it NNEP is the right way to call it. Right, so the learn, achieve and contribute concept is absolutely going hand in hand with what a national education policy puts forward. It says that there should be accessibility of education. The concept is taken from United Nations Education Program, definitely, which states that education should reach to the last child of the world. So Pradhan Mantri ji has wisely taken this concept and is focusing on that every child of our country should have the accessibility to this education. Now comes the concept of equity. So the education should be for all without discrimination. And as Rajboot Singh ji said कि उसको सुगम बनाना है, right? कि सब तक पहुँच सके, it should be easy to reach. And then comes the contribution from all areas, and even Raj Verma ji said in the first few words that he addressed audience with, that it's the contribution of all of us that is taking Haryana and India together to higher levels at global platforms. So this is all what we are here for. So we would be talking more about what National Education Policy is all about, what has been added, the the new 8 skills that we need to focus. Mr. Raj also have talked about it, and Mr. Both of them are talking about it, that we should be taking forward digital literacy. So how, under what umbrella we are taking it forward to, what Haryana government is working to take it forward, right? Because this is to be understood now. The new age war has come. Now the wars are not going to fight with weapons. The war is going to take place with innovation and AI, isn't it? Right. So we have to be innovative, and let's look forward how Haryana government is contributing towards the global innovative index of country, that is Indian Innovative Index, which Niti Aayog put forward every time. So as you mentioned, the statistics that you were talking about, it was related to global innovative index. So in Haryana has scored third position. It's after Mumbai and Bangalore now. So we are on the third position, and I'm pretty sure with the speed that we are heading ahead, we are going ahead, we are going to be number one. So Haryana will be number one in AI and innovation. We already have IT industry, Gurgaon, where we are sitting right now. So this is what we are working on in schools as well. So I'll throw some light on that. So I would like to.
So we'll thank you so much. Those are very insightful words. We'll go over to Amit because when we talk about global or anything global, we're merging global education with what's happening in India currently. There is no better person than Amit, who's heading Educate Online and brought some monumental programs to Indian high school students. So we'll listen into him how it already blends with the NEP as well as what else can we do to make education more holistic and more skill based. So over to you, Amit.
Thank you so much. My name is Amit. Simi ji ne already मुझे introduce कर ही दिया. I'm the CEO for Educate Online in India. Educate Online as an organization we created 10 years ago. और उसका focus was very simply to create a world of education without borders. कि दुनिया में कहीं भी जो best education available है, no student should be bereft of it क्योंकि मैं एक certain country, certain city, certain town से belong करता हूँ. And how can you use technology to bring the best learning to students? जहाँ तक कि हमारा Indian initiative जाता है, that's completely based on taking Indian students at par with the global best. Because अगर आप देखेंगे higher education के अंदर जब Indian students overseas जाते हैं, there is a certain struggle attached to it because our education is somewhere rated at a certain level today. It's good to be really proud of ourselves, but we still have a lot of work to do. And our focus is to make sure हम technology, talent और जो global practices हैं उसका एक combination बना के आगे चलें so that we can actually create talent that keeps leading world organizations as it is today. So that is what we are focusing on, to make sure that we can do that with Indian schools so that that gap that remains to be covered can be done systematically. So that's what we are trying to do.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Amit.
much.
Thank you. And absolutely, that gap has to be covered, and NEP offers for all of that. But with some of these value-added courses, we can now supplement any CBSE education or any form of board that you're following with some simple courses that you could take online and learn while you're studying from 9th grade onwards, and also create certifications and diploma courses for yourself. So that's wonderful. But now we have, we want to ask you, because you are into early education, how does formative years help in creating, a child or nurturing him or her to make them a global citizen? And what are those efforts that you're putting in at that age, to help promote that?
So I'm the director of Kia Montessori Preschool and Daycare, and as our government has taken it seriously in this new education policy 2020, so early years are really important in a child's life and also in building a nation also. So now government has taken up the initiative to introduce so many training programs for the teachers, for the adults who are near the kids. So we require all these things, and as ma'am said, like for the elder years it's required. In early childhood it is required more. Early childhood care and education is taken seriously now. So we are following the Montessori curriculum, and it has been followed worldwide. So we believe in hands-on training with the kids, and as the Maria Montessori said, what's the hand does, the mind remembers. So we should take it very seriously, all the parents, all the teachers, as we are building our child from the scratch. Like these years, they are learning. The growth is happening. Like 85 to 90% of growth is happening in these years. So we have to take it seriously.
Thank you so much. Yes, we do have to take it seriously and make it fun at the same time too, so that not only they learn, but they are also given this environment where they can grow, they can prosper, and look forward to learning in a meta fun way. So now the three of them have shed light on how maybe a K through 12 education, early years education is like, how we can possibly integrate global with the local education that we offer here. Now I have a question for all of them, which you can individually answer. What is that one thing, if you had to change in education system today, what would that be and why?
All right, so the things that I have been pondering upon that education system should work on, the work has already started, I must say, with the new education policy, the national education policy. As ma'am mentioned, so even my school is K to 12. So she has rightly mentioned that now the pedagogy and the methodologies have changed. India is, I don't know, like it's always a bit late. So we are learning everything from outside, whereas we have various schools which already adopt the things. So government usually get little late in announcing things. So that's a little complaint that I have with the government, that we should be a little faster, right? So she mentioned, recently I was taking 10th class geography. One day I just went into the classroom and there was a chapter going on agriculture. So when I went through the chapter index and everything, I asked them what is the new thing that has come up in agriculture. So the book lacked the latest innovations in technology. On the one hand, we are talking about that we should, the books are revised, we should add new things, isn't it? But why books are lacking the latest technologies and the methodologies that are needed to be followed? With the same, I asked the question, do we really need land for agriculture? However, the term agriculture is taken from Greek word and it states that a culture on land. So what do we do with land is called agriculture, right? Whether it's plantation or farming or whatever. So can agriculture be done, or particularly a part of agriculture that is farming, can it be done without soil? It's a provocative question that I put forward to my students and they didn't have any idea. And then I turned the pages and I thought that government might have added something new which is taking place in our society. Because when we are talking about experiential learning, you just mentioned, it's lacking, right? So we have to work on it. As you asked, what is one thing that I would like? I think we need to work a little faster towards it. We are working, that's right, it's absolutely right, we are working, but we have to increase the pace that we are going with. The world is changing at, a rocket speed level, because recently before COVID, we were talking about Industrial Revolution 3.0. But now with AI, we are talking about Industrial Revolution 4.0. So I think we need to work a little faster, and government need to put new things, whatever are been in place, in the books as well, so that students can relate and can have a comparative study of the same. So it's hydroponic that is to be included. This is the new agriculture that we can work on. So these are the little things that I want to be added.
Thank you so much, Nishi, and you're spot on. Actually, and it's wonderful. Yeah, she needs to be applauded for this. True, because I have lived and worked in the US in education for such a long time, I realized one distinct difference between here and there was all of the professors who were teaching in the classroom had very current research with them. That's what we lack here. The professors were given one semester to teach, one semester to go research. So when I'm citing 2024. I am not citing 1970s or 80s or 90s or early 2000s. So I think that's the distinct difference. So she is right in saying that we have to bridge that gap somewhere and bring current trends in education, the current know-how, so that the children are better informed. Thank you so much. I'd like you to, Amit.
So, two-part answer to that, Simi. First is, of course, it's a utopian kind of a thing. I don't know whether it's possible, but let's say, imagine if you were to just remove borders for education, purely for education. I know countries have their own borders and so on. Imagine if all the students in the world worked on one passport, ID, whatever, and they had access to whatever they are best at, and it would not be limited to a state or progress of a country or progress. It's basically where the student gets access to the best education. It's a utopian kind of a concept, but if you ask me one thing that could overnight change, maybe something like that would be amazing to have.
I think somewhere we all want this to happen.
We do. I know we do.
In reality, yes.
We do. A more practical thing that I'd say that can immediately be actioned is basically to map what's happened for us as a country, for Haryana as a state, is to map the best practices that are currently happening globally. That's something that has to be a little more agile, has to be a little more fast, because today if you look at global education, and that's where my area is, so I'll tell you, there are pockets of excellence coming up in various parts of the world. I'll give you a small example. There's a small country like Serbia. I think Gurgaon's population is more than Serbia's population. And today when you look at sports education, they're becoming a hub for sports education. Just that small little area of expertise. We as a country can do everything that all these small countries are doing in pieces. So maybe it's time to make task forces that can actually map what's happening and try and replicate that for the millions of kids that we have in India. So that's something I'd like to change.
Thank you. Very well said. And there's a quote that I keep reading. The author is unknown, and I'll read it out to you. And then I realized adventure was the best way to learn. So it resonates so well with what I have done in my life. Started my early childhood education in India, studied in a convent school, went to the US for my undergrad, and learned so much more there, worked in higher education system there, and came back to India. So I realized what Amit is saying. When I first went there as a young kid who did not know what to expect, I was lost in that vast ocean of knowledge, uncertainty. But when I met people, and the first time, and I keep repeating this over and over again, somebody told me, "It's okay to fail, sweetheart." I had never heard that line in my life. It's okay to fail? No, hell no. We were taught you cannot fail. So, very liberating thought. So, I feel like Amit said, it's very important to experience another culture, another education system, another country, even if it's for a short while. You must experience that. Thank you, Amit, for that. And over to you, ma'am.
I think young age, like 0 to 6 years, are the most important years, and these are the kids who will build our nation, who will be the future of our nation. So, what change I expect and we should do collectively as parents, as teachers, as government, we have to train our parents also, because education starts from home. Mother is the first teacher, and they really want their child to excel and to have all the knowledge in this world, but they don't know how to proceed about it. So we have to collectively take an action. We should introduce courses for parents also, short courses, so that they know how they can contribute in building our nation.
That's a wonderful thought. I appreciate that. And we would request Rajji and Reporter Ji to take this forward. Maybe what we could do is start a short program on Reporter Ji, which talks about various education trends, and also maybe educating the parents, the children, giving government, some new know-hows of how other cultures are working. So thank you so much for giving us this platform. I am so happy that I got the opportunity to meet with these wonderful people. Nishi Yadav, Deepika Ji, and of course Amit, I have known for many years. Thank you again, everyone. And when you go back, study about the latest trends in education, learn something new, pick up a new language, a new hobby or something, that excites you. So always keep learning, always keep growing. All my best wishes to you. And thank you again, Rajji, Lata, and all the August panel that's here. Thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.